get you on the committee, and I'm going to get Daniel's approval to have Joe Jean added to the committee today. Actually, our standing committee members, to make sure you're okay with all that. And we'll go ahead and get started. And that sounds fine. Okay. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order then at 3:04.
Wait, 1 sec.
No worries.
Got to hit the recording button.
All right, good afternoon, guys. Thank you and welcome to the ACC meeting today. I know we normally don't have one on Friday. We're kind of doing this as an organizational meeting and trying to take care of some business as well. So first thing I want to do is I did call the meeting to order at 3:04. And the first item on here is to approve the agenda for today. And if I can get a motion to have that agenda approved. Oh, actually, I would like to amend the agenda for today to add the organizational stuff on here because it's not added on here. So I would like to add item number 9 on our agenda would be the organizational part of the meeting. And that is going to be this to select the chair and to get our committee members approved by Daniel, and then we'll have them approved by the board. And that would be item number 9. So if I get a motion for that amendment, if Daniel, you can make that motion to approve that.
Yes.
Okay, I'll second that motion. So that has been Daniel and then seconded by Keith. Okay. So the thing is, there's only 2 of us now, as you very well know. So there's only Daniel and I on this committee meeting currently. So we're going to have to do some work on here to get some more committee members. So the first item on here is item number 1 is approval of the November 18th, 2022 meeting minutes. And in all fairness, Deb, I didn't see those. So I'm going to have to defer those myself. And I know Daniel has nothing to do with that. So I'm going to defer item number 1.
Okay.
Until I actually get to review those minutes and take a look at that. So I'm making that motion. Can I get a second? Daniel, that's got to be you.
A second.
Thanks, man.
I'm here.
Okay, so that's going to be Keith and Daniel. Okay, and then for items number 3 through 8, which were the regular agenda items on here for today, I move that we defer these items. There were some conflicting issues, just so I know we're being recorded so the community knows. We did not get the agenda until late yesterday, I believe. I didn't get it till this morning, and that could have been my fault to not get it till this morning. But I did not have time to go look at these things. Daniel, I don't know if you had time to go look at anything.
No, actually, I did want to talk about procedure and how we go about all this first. But right. I got it. I think I got it.
As a point of order, the agenda was posted to the website with more than 48 hours notice. Mm-hmm. And that is the most reliable way for everyone to have access to the agenda and the supporting materials. So that was done. And I can show you later, Daniel, where to find that exactly on the website, because you have to click through a couple of different pages. And I did send the email later that same day to you guys with the agenda as an attachment. And that is our typical procedure, is that 48 hours, the agenda will be posted to the website and a digital copy sent to members of the committee. If you want a hard copy, you need to request it in advance and we'll prepare that. And then it can be picked up at the Welcome Center. Or if you can't pick it up during business hours, we can leave it at the Pro Shop or at some other location so that you can get it when you have access to it when you're able to come by. So those are our processes. Does that work still for you, Keith? And Daniel, does that sound like something you could work with?
I think that's perfect. Just send me a link to the website. It'll be perfect for me. Okay,
I'll go ahead and do that. And Keith, does that work for you as well? And I know you frequently like to have the hard copy so you can carry it out in the field.
Oh yeah, I will always want a hard copy. So yeah, so that's for sure. And yeah, that's the way we've been doing it. And I got no problem with it. It's been working out fine. And typically just to do a little more on that. So Deb tries to have these out to us on Friday before our Thursday meeting. So it gives us like the weekend time to go look at them and stuff like that. And sometimes, Daniel, you'll find that you need to contact the homeowner. You may need to make a phone call or make contact to get more information on items. I find that quite often the case, and it's very helpful in our meeting. Yeah, so I have no objections to that, Joanne. I think that's been working out just fine so far. And yeah, I'd say we just keep it as is.
Perfect. Well, I'll make a note that it's the Friday before, so you have the weekend, and that makes perfect sense to me.
Okay, very good. And then so just to clarify, we did make the motion to defer items 2 through 8. Is that correct, Danielle?
That is correct.
Okay, and it was seconded.
That's seconded.
Okay. So that'll be deferred, Deb. So all the next items, and then Deb, you can go ahead and add your new submittals onto that.
Okay.
No problem with that. And I don't think Daniel has a problem with that. The more we can get off our plate, the better. Okay, so item number 9 is going to be what we started with, really an organizational meeting. And this is to elect the chair for 2023. And Daniel and I have already talked about it, but we're doing this now, so it's recorded and official. So I'm going to nominate myself as chair, and I need a second on that if you're in agreement, Daniel. And if you're not, nominate yourself.
No, I second that.
Okay, so that's Daniel, and then or Keith and Daniel. That's weird. I can make my own motion. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of weird with just 2 people. Okay, Daniel. So the next thing is we had committee members that have served, and we talked about it on the phone, that served previously on the ACC, and they stepped up last year to come back and help the ACC out because we were substantially short some members. And so we had the members come back. They were nice enough to do that. One was Rich Hart, Joe Jean, Jensen, Joe Jean Jensen. I was looking at Joe Jean Coast. I was looking at your email, Joanne. Anyway, Rich Hart, Wayne Lee, and Justin Provost. So I'm recommending that we would extend that opportunity to them again to join our ACC committee. So I would make the motion. And so Daniel, how this works is I'm going to make the motion for those, I'll read their names again to have them approved by you. So I'll make the motion for approval. You'll second that motion, and then it has to go in front of the board. So after we approve this, and there's some paperwork we have to catch up on that Joanne and I are going to catch up on prior to that meeting, just to make sure they're all vetted and things like that. But yeah, so that's the idea here. They've already served on the committee. They've been serving up to it until the last AGM where they no longer serve. So they're the same people. And so I make the motion that I would recommend Richard Hart, Wayne Lee, Joe Jean Coast, and Justin Provost as committee members. They'll be appointed committee members. And if you're in agreement with that, I would need a second.
I second.
Okay. So that's Keith. Daniel. Okay. And Joanne, is there anything else I needed to do organizational for you? I mean, right now at this meeting that you needed to, you know what I mean?
No, I need the members that you just nominated,
Yep.
Or the people that you just nominated to become appointed members. I need them to apply so that they can be vetted.
Yep.
And then we had some other applications from the community. Did you receive those?
Yep, I received. Yes, I did.
Excellent.
Yeah, so the reason why I haven't mentioned those names, and Dan, I have in front of me, there was one other one. I have it here. Usually I like to call them prior to I know they sent in the form, right? And their intention was all good. I always like to touch base and just make sure they're still on board with everything. And then if they say, oh yeah, no, it's great, then I'll put their names. And then, so hopefully before the board meeting, we'll have these 2 people added as well. It would be my idea, if that's okay with everyone.
Well, perhaps so you can get Daniel's second for your motion, and you could tentatively approve them subject to a conversation regarding the responsibilities.
I think that makes good sense, Joanne. I think that makes real good sense. I'm just trying to find the second page here. So I have Dan. What'd you say? No, there's 2 of them. Was there not 2, Joe? Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. So you're correct. I thought there was 2 new applicants. I was all excited about that. So it was actually Joe Jean, who's already was on our committee. And then the new one, Daniel, is a guy named Dan Vink. And he has sent an application in. He'd like to join the ACC, so he would be an appointed member as well, joining the other 4. And I would make the motion. He's got career focus in buildings, waterways, land use, open space restoration. I mean, sounds like a perfect fit for us. The one quirky thing is he lives between here and California. So he will be a vetted member, he is a vetted member. So we already got it from Joanna vetted. So he is vetted. He owns here, but he just may not be able to make all the meetings. That would be the problem. And so one of the issues with having a committee, like saying a big committee of 7 people, is we have to have a quorum. So if we had 7 or 9 is what we're supposed to have, 9 people, that means 5 would have to be at every meeting for us to have a quorum and to hold the meeting. So there is some thought is having someone who's only here, say 6 months a year. I haven't talked to him yet, so I don't know. It's like a schedule. If he's here 8 months a year, or he's only here 3. I don't know. That would be my only concern about having somebody on here who's not at the meetings. It could create a problem at some point. But I certainly don't mind.
Zoom meetings count, right? I mean, if you can make it for a Zoom meeting, that could be considered a quorum, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is
actually that is not correct. So it's a little different. And let me explain. We recently had to hash this out at the board level, and you may have, if you attended the recent annual general meeting, you'll see that we had to wait for a quorum to be physically present before we started. So here's the explanation of that. On October 31st of this past year, the state of emergency in Washington state that had been declared by the governor was ended.
Right.
So when the state of emergency was active, it allowed us to hold meetings remotely because it was considered a state of emergency. But the bylaws do not allow for virtual meetings to be held unless there's an extraordinary circumstance or to obtain a quorum. So if yeah, you see what I'm saying? So we can meet today because we could not have in this virtual meeting space because we could not achieve a quorum, right? If we met physically because the members of the committee were unable to attend and achieve a quorum. So that gave us the ability to meet via Zoom for this meeting. However, we should plan to hold meetings in person on a regular basis because that's what's required by the bylaws. If the board chooses to amend the bylaws, that obviously has to go through that long and involved process. So we're kind of stuck with the current state of affairs until that happens. But to your point, Daniel, if a quorum were needed and this gentleman, Dan Vink, were able to join remotely, he could satisfy that requirement of achieving a quorum.
So Joanne, then just out of curiosity, how is that going to be set up? Like if all of a sudden Dan called in or something, how are you? And I don't know where we're meeting. We used to meet at El Agave. I mean, how would that work? That would be like a hybrid meeting. That would be hard.
Yeah, they are hard, but they are also possible. Yeah, you were just there and it was quite a little crazy. However, I've sorted that out. The mechanism, the electronic mechanism for doing it, I can manage from whatever location we're at. I just have to do it a little bit differently than it had been set up in the past. One person can do it, but it, like I said, requires a different setup. So there are now 2 or 3 different physical meeting places that we could use for that. Okay. 2 of them are in the rec center, the community center down there. One is the dance barn itself, if it's a large meeting. Or the second one is the multi-purpose room on the first floor. And obviously we'll be putting space heaters in there if we're going to use it again.
Is that where we had our meeting the other night?
Yeah, that's exactly where we were. Yeah, and it was freezing in there. So we'll clearly have to set up space heaters. And then the third possible location is the second floor of the Welcome Center. There is a conference table and chairs up there and internet connectivity. So that's another accessible place with parking, et cetera, et cetera.
That'd be my favorite place.
Yeah, the challenge, of course, is that second floor is not ADA accessible, whereas the dance barn, of course, does have ADA access through the back door, and on the first floor, there's ADA access as well. So we have to be careful about that. Okay. But those are the 3 spaces that I'm aware of. There's also a meeting space in the adult center next to the sauna, if you guys are familiar with that.
Yep.
That's also a space that would be viable for a small committee meeting.
Okay. All right. So then right now, so right now our December 8th meeting that we're going to set up, we don't even know where that'll be held at this point then.
Well, the board is on December 8th, and that's in the dance barn. December 15th was discussed as the next ACC meeting.
Yeah.
And we can decide on a location between now and then.
Perfect.
But I would suggest that the easiest place to do our first meeting would be in the multi-purpose room on the first floor of the community center.
Yeah.
And then when we convene in person, we can ask whether members of the committee are able to access the second floor of the Welcome Center. And then if everyone agrees and that's amenable, we can do that.
Yeah, maybe just keep it at the multi-purpose room. That was a perfect spot anyways. Easy in, easy out, a lot of parking and stuff like that. As long as you get the heater fixed.
So you said a quorum is 5?
I'm sorry?
A quorum is 5?
Well, it would depend on how many members we have. So like this last year, I was the only elected committee member, right? And we had some appointees. So we were able to get I think 3 appointees or 4 appointees. So it made us 5 people. So we had to have 3 or more at any given time to hold a meeting. So you have to have, if there's 5, you have to have 3 of them there. If there's 6, you got to have, how it is. So that's just the way it works. So we were able to hold meetings. And like Joanne said, some of our meetings, we'd have like 3 or 4 people. And during the meeting, 2 would break off. Because once you have a quorum, even if we're in person, if we had a quorum, you could leave if you had to. An emergency came up, we could start a meeting with a quorum. We don't have to finish with a quorum. But last year, it got down to where it was only Joe Jean and myself. We'd have like 4 to start a meeting, and it ended up just 2 of us at the end. And it gets into a bad situation if we run into a 50-50 where I'm for something and she's, how that is. And all of a sudden, there's no tiebreaker. And like I said, always, I like many opinions. I have my ideas, sure, but you have yours. And sometimes it's nice to hear other people's ideas and it opens your mind and hey, yeah, that can work and things like that. So more members are good, but at the same time, it creates a problem trying to meet a quorum if you have too many members. But we've never had too many that I know of. And the more members we've had on the past couple of years I've done this, the actual better it's been. I like it that way. You get more voting, it's 5-4 sometimes and, 8-1. And it's kind of nice just to have a good community thing. And then to answer your question a little further, Daniel, the way it used to be, like we used to meet, go over the agenda items and then tour together. We would drive out and look at all the properties and then make our decisions in kind of as a group. That hasn't happened in, I guess, 2 years now. We've been meeting via Zoom and we've been going out individually. I've gone out with a few people, right? When we weren't supposed to, you're supposed to drive separately or whatever. But a couple of us like call each other, hey, let's just go look together, save gas, save time. And we go look at stuff. And sometimes, you're looking for property markers. You're crawling around on property, walking around, you're checking for property markers, you're looking. So it is good to have more people, there and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it getting back to kind of normal. I really am a fan of Zoom. I like that because I've had to do some work recently and it allowed, that to happen and be home and you could just rush in and all of a sudden, boom, you could be at the meeting. You didn't have to change, shower and run down to a meeting. I could throw a hat on, throw a clean shirt on, call it good, But no, I appreciate this. And like I said, Daniel, I appreciate you stepping up and welcome to the community and welcome to our committee. I really appreciate that.
I think I'm with you. I would very much like to go visit all these properties and I'm happy to do it with you or with the team because I really want to make informed decisions here and I want to discuss these things as we go rather than just arguing at the moment of the meeting. So yeah.
Perfect. I know Joe Jean's been anxious to get back to group travel, to going out in a group and stuff. So I think it's been probably everyone will be up for that. I would think. But
all right. So here's a question. Do you want us to prepare materials to support committee members? Like, would it help if we printed copies of the architectural rules and regs and put those in little binders for y'all?
Yeah. So Joanne, so I have this ginormous thing here. So the ACC, what we used to get would be, I don't know if you can see, was that, I don't know, see, that's a 8, is that? No, yeah, that's the architecture one. So the 2021, so that's what it is. So it has all the bylaws in here. It's got a nice, lovely map. Like you can pull this out and then you can actually look at properties. You can see our green belts in them, things like that. There's also one of these. I don't know if you can see. It's an ACC volunteer, they used to have a lanyard you could wear around your neck. So when you're touring people's properties, you wouldn't get shot at. You know, they know you're with the ACC. I knock on the doors to let everybody know. Some people of ours don't, the committees don't. But we used to have that. And so that was kind of good, letting people know we're there.
Yeah, I would love to have that packet if it's available.
Well, I will make it so, Daniel. We'll get it to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then that's the one we had for board of directors, if Joanne could see that.
I have examples of the board one, but I haven't seen an example of the ACC one, Keith. So I'll poke around and see what materials need to go in there. Unless
I can bring it
drop
over.
it off. If you could drop it off with me, then I can replicate it for others.
Yeah, I can do that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll drop it off for you. That'll be perfect.
Right, and then I can prepare those after the meeting on the 8th of the board where members will be approved, and all the approved members, I'll just make a binder for them and we'll get it sorted out.
Yeah, and we should ask, because there hasn't been any policy changes recently, because Rich Hart, they might already have them, Joanne, so I would hate to have you reduplicate something. Like Joanne may already have hers, because, not Joanne, Jo Jean, excuse me. Because she used to be on the ACC, but I'll check with them and see who needs one. And Rich Hart, he knows the ACC like really well. He's been on it for years, and he probably has his has a binder. You know what I mean? So, gosh, I hate to see you do work you don't need to do, but I'll check and find out if they'd like one. I would certainly let you know, and I'll drop that off for you so you can see what's in there.
Great.
Okay.
Joanne, are you in the new Welcome Center? Where are you physically?
Yes, our administrative offices are over there at the Welcome Center, and we're open to the public between 9 and 4 every day, and I'm in there before 9 and definitely after 4, so you can usually get me over there.
Before 9 p.m., 9 a.m. Hey, pretty much get her there anytime.
Indeed.
Okay, all right, so just, I know it's weird, but Joanne, anything I'm missing out of this meeting?
No, I don't think so. Just can we discuss if there are other volunteer submissions prior to the December 8th meeting? I can forward them to you, but you and Daniel will need to confer to get them approved. And since you now know that it's possible to achieve a quorum telephonically, you could do that, but you would need to announce the meeting.
You do, huh?
Right. So what you would need to do is just let us know that you are holding an organizational meeting 48 hours in advance. So let's say that December the 8th is a Thursday. Let's say you wanted to plan to meet on December 5th, Monday night or Tuesday night at the very latest. We could set that up, post it, and create a Zoom for that. So you had a touch point that was an official touch point to approve any additional applications. That way you get the maximum set of people who are interested in participating. That would be my only suggestion.
Yep, no, I think that's a great suggestion. And on top of that, so Daniel, if you know of anybody that's interested in joining or helping out in the ACC, I would love to get some more applicants in here.
Well, just to clarify, worst case scenario, it's just you and me. What is the quorum then? Just the two of us, or do we need more people to? I mean, it would be nice to have, but do we need that to actually make these official meetings?
Well, it's an interesting thing. So yeah, we have to have a quorum to have a meeting. That's for sure. But currently, right now, you and I are the committee.
So is this a quorum officially?
We're 100% quorum met right now because it's you and I are the meeting.
Okay, so if we had decisions to make and it was still just the two of us, we could make those, correct?
That would be my understanding to this point. Yes, we have no other.
Yes, but no single person, correct, even though they're half, could become a quorum. So the two of you would always have to meet in order to make the decision.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so no pulling any fast ones, Daniel. Yeah, we meet, whatever we meet. Yeah, so right now, if we wanted to have a meeting, we found, or Joanne finds 3 more applicants or something. And
Okay.
yes, you and I could hold a Zoom and say, hey, we got these 3 new things, and we'll talk about it. Say, yes, we'd love to have them. And that way on the 15th, they'll get added on the board agenda. And then, or the 8th on there,
Right.
and then the 15th, they'll be part of our committee.
Okay, so
Okay.
if we do get some other people that are interested, would that be a commitment of time for them, or would they just kind of wander in and out with the meetings and just sort of help us out ad hoc?
Yeah, so the way that works, you want them all the time. It's a commitment. It's been that way. I don't know that it couldn't change, right? But it's always been that way. And so the big thing for me was like the summers are killers, man. So right now it's a great time for you to join here. I appreciate that. It's slow. It's a great time for us to meet with Joanne and Deb and stuff and get everything coordinated for this next year. We don't have a lot of our agendas. Agendas in the summertime could be 3 times as many things on here with a lot of new construction. So sometimes we've even split it up before. We're like, half the group will take half the agenda and the half will take the other half. It's kind of different like that, but we've had to do some things like that. And new constructions, when those come, those are horrendous. And those, it is a time commitment. It could take us sometimes a long time to go through these things. So we're trying to streamline. We have been for the last year and a half, trying to figure out ways to streamline and make things a little quicker. So we're always open to ideas and new concepts. But yeah, they're going to make a commitment. So anyone who joins, yes, we want them at the meetings. And but in the summer, like where I was headed with that, in the summer we get so busy, and then you have vacation. I have vacation. Everyone has, their vacation and time plan. It's nice that they can meet, right? We don't need everyone here. 3 of them can go on vacation, and we still can meet and have our meetings. And so it works out nice that way. But the way I would like to see it is just me thinking, and we could talk about it more, but yeah, say if we got 7 people on here, I would think you're right. I don't think all 7 of us, we need to do it every 2 weeks or whatever. I think we could make that decision as, jointly make a decision that, hey, I'm going to do it, this month, and you could take a couple months off. I don't have a problem with that. And I think if we get to that and we can make that decision as a committee, I think that'd be great. I wouldn't have any issues with that.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely like to talk to you about how this whole thing plays out and what your plans are and what you've already seen, what experiences you've had in this role.
Say that I've already seen what?
Your experiences in this role already. I would just like to get your guidance on how this all plays out and how you review these individual items.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it looks. I know it seems a bit overwhelming. It's really not. And everyone's so nice. I mean, you go out to these houses, these people are anxious to meet with you and go over their plans and stuff. It's not really, I know some people make it horrible. It's just not that bad. Everyone mostly is nice people and is trying to get stuff done. And so we can help them do that. You get some fulfillment out of that, I guess. It's nice to help them on their way. But yeah, it's not that bad. It is time consuming in the summer. I wouldn't lie about that. It is. I don't even want to scare you, so we'll just wait till you're in here.
No, I'm
I'm
not scared, but I do need a little bit of guidance up front. And I think the binder that I get will help me quite a bit.
Yeah, the binder's great. So I'm not a computer guy, and Joanne, you are. She's like, I know you got to be, because like she's it's online. You can just do this, do that, and I'm like, I'm old school, man. I'm like online. I can't even find half stuff online. Some of the stuff she mentioned tonight, you've seen it. I haven't even seen it online yet. Our own SVA website. So I'm the old school. I like hard copy. I like to be able to read. And then for me, when you're driving out here, some of our gates you don't have good internet reception. So you can't go online. And that's even for like maps to find the places. And believe me, I've driven, 1,000 miles here and I still don't know where all the streets are. So I'm using my map and you lose reception. And so the binder's great. I can pull it out, especially that map is I use the map a lot. You pull that out and you can really see property lines and corners and green belts and a lot different. And you'll find out here, a lot of people will think that their land just extends till the next house. They think that's my property. It's not. Some of it's like Sun Valley property or, someone else's property, but it's amazing how often you see, well, that's not even your property. And they just assume it was. And so it's kind of interesting, but like I said, it's also very helpful for the community. So I've enjoyed it. But anyways, anything else we need to discuss today?
Do you guys want to set up that extra meeting on Monday, the 5th or Tuesday, the 6th of December?
I would, well, that's only if we're gonna have any additional members, right?
Right, so it's a tentative special meeting.
It'd be a tentative. Yeah, why don't we just do the 5th then? Is that,
Monday.
Daniel, how's you? How are you looking?
5th is good for me. You say that's a Tuesday?
That's a
Monday
Monday.
is the 5th.
What time do you usually meet?
We normally meet on the 1st and 3rd Thursday of every month, and the first Thursday is 9 a.m. And the second Thursday is at 6 p.m. And the reason for that was actually one of the committee members that brought that up, and that was for homeowners to be able to attend, because not everyone can attend at 9 o'clock on a weekday. So that's why that came around. That's when we normally meet, but we can call meetings, like Joanne said, anytime we feel like we need to. We've had meetings we've had to call before, some emergency meetings, as long as we give 48 hours notice. There's been a couple meetings I've called where there are emergency requests. Sometimes it happens, you need something done right away and you can't wait, or your contractor's available and, that kind of stuff. So, we'll do that. I'm not opposed to, we got the time, let's make a quick meeting as long as everyone can get on board and go look at it. That's the big thing. So, yeah.
Would a 5 p.m. or a 6 p.m. time on that Monday work, Daniel?
I'm sorry, say the times again.
5 or 6, or would you prefer a day during the day?
5 or 6 is great. I actually work East Coast hours for like 5 in the morning till 2. So those would be the toughest times for me to meet, but and we get lunch at 9 o'clock our time. So
Right.
I think that'll work.
Okay, then Keith, on Monday, the 5th, would 5 o'clock work, or do you want to do it earlier?
Oh yeah, I don't mind doing it. Oh, what am I doing? I don't know. Yeah, I would say let's set it up. It's tentative meeting anyway. So Daniel, you think 3 o'clock is better for you then? Or what do you want to do? Let's just do whatever you want to do.
3 o'clock would be great for me.
All right, Joanne, will that work?
Absolutely. 3 p.m. on Monday, the 5th, and that's a tentative meeting. So I'll reach out to you is it next week? I think it is. Next week is, we can wait all the way till November 30th. And then we'll see if there are any additional volunteer applications. And if there are, then we'll go ahead and schedule the meeting on the 5th.
Excellent. And let's hope. I don't know how we send out some kind of advertisement.
Well, there was an advertisement in the Views, and there will be an e-blast today that asks for volunteers.
Nice.
But if you have a minute, I'll actually show you where it is. So
Jamie knows how to do screen share. Oh, I'm sure Daniel, you're all on that too, right? You know all this stuff.
I usually use Teams. I don't use Zoom very often.
Oh,
okay. So here's the Sudden Valley. Well, no, that's this. Okay, so let's go to. Okay, so here's the Sudden Valley website. It's just suddenvalley.com. And if you come down here on the left-hand side, it says volunteer opportunities.
Yep.
And if you click on that, at the bottom of that page, you fill out the committee volunteer form. There are a couple of questions. You have a big space to put in some experience, and then you hit submit. I've heard in the last few days that some of the people who hit this submit button get an error that says it didn't work, but I've gotten their submissions anyway. So I will look into why that's malfunctioning, but that's how people apply. Okay, so go to the website, look in the general menu, go to volunteer opportunities, scroll down on that page, and that's where you find the form.
Perfect. Yeah, I know that's what Josine had got that error thing. But like I said, I texted her today, said, no, it went through. Joanne sent me your form. Yes, everything's good. So no, that's great.
Awesome.
I appreciate that. All right. Anything else we need to discuss? And of course, Danielle, you and I can chat anytime, so if you want to give me you got my number and stuff, you can give me a call. I'm more than happy to talk to you about anything, anytime. And if you want to get together to go look at these, I'd be happy to do that with you too. Some maybe this weekend or something like that, we can do that. Although
Yeah,
it's a
that's
little early, I guess, because now this meeting wouldn't be until December.
Yeah, actually, not this weekend, but I would definitely like to do that. Let's schedule that. What are your regular hours? Do you have a regular job that,
No, I don't.
You're-
I'm a retired, but I am working. So right now I'm doing a 3-bedroom, 2-bath remodel in downtown Bellingham, complete gut job for my son. He's got a rental property there. So I'm doing that for him. So I'm pretty much available, but right now I'm gone usually like 8 to 5 every day, like now at a minimum, sometimes get back around 7 at night right now, but
well, yeah, let's try to get together before that 15th meeting.
okay. All right, well then if we're done with everything, I'm going to put a motion to adjourn the meeting at 3:40. If I can get a second on that.
Second,
Okay, the meeting's been adjourned.
Thanks so much. I'll be in
Thank
touch,
you.
and I'll look for you to drop off that binder so I can
Yep.
find all the materials and produce them for the committee members. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you. I
Ed.
appreciate your time, Joanne. Thank you. And for doing this. I really appreciate your help.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Daniel.
everyone.
Good to meet you.